Hello, Velia.
Hi, Laura. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Doing good. Doing all right. It's the end of the year or coming close to it. So I feel like I'm like pushing myself hard, but also reminding myself I need to relax and get ready
Yeah.
for the new year. How about
Yeah.
you?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, how about you?
Good. I was out of town. I just got back yesterday. So the same, I'm like reflecting on the year, and like how crazy it was and how much I learned and how many people I've met and just looking at like um I was just thinking, like, Robert and I were talking, like, wow, Costa Rica felt like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, but that was just earlier this year. So I'm like, wow, so much happened, in such a short amount of time. But yeah, then we went out of town and then we went to Oklahoma and then we just got back yesterday. So, anyways, it's just like a whirlwind of stuff, but also like, um, focusing on the next year. It's been quite interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been, yeah, super busy. And it's like, it's just, I don't know. I always think of like, it's so cold. I don't want to move. So it's just like a time to slow down too.
Yeah.
And prepare for the next year.
I agree. I agree. Well, let me see if I think Angelique is going to be here. Let me just see if I can send her the link.
Mhm.
She's not going to jump on. I still have this weird thing with my view, well, where it's like it'll have you, but it won't have me. I just
Hmm.
don't know how to change this. So, oh well, let me see here.
That is weird. I remember it being pretty easy in Zoom.
It's just me, but that's okay. We'll just get started because I'm talking about funnels today and and that's going to be fun. So my camera's on. You can see me, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
can see.
Yeah. One last try. Hmm. Okay. Well, I'm not sure. Can you see this board behind me? Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, there's me. Okay. You just keep pushing buttons till it works. Here's Angelique. Okay. Right. Hey, Angelique. Oh, so another thing is I have like this, it happened last year, the first time I get like this sinus thing going and then it like causes this headache and it's not a sinus infection, it's just like inflammation.
Mhm.
So, that's something I've been battling for like a week is like sinus headaches and um really that's it, just pressure. So
Mhm.
if I um sneeze or something, just know it too will pass. So, hey, Angelique. So, we'll just get started. But first, I want to ask you guys. I just kind of tell you what I'm doing. Um, is the weekly calls are very. I know Velia, you noticed they're very like entry level because I'm kind of observing the people that I'm attracting, the collective, and being like, what do they need? This class, I definitely am moving it to more of the advanced. Like you guys know what a funnel is, right? So I'm able to kind of go deeper in that.
Mhm.
Do you think an hour is enough for this class? If I add like application, or should it be extended to 90 minutes, or should we just kind of wait and see? Because I feel like 90 minutes is too long, but I also want to, I feel like they always go over. So
Mhm.
I don't want to take anybody's time, but I do want to say, let's do some kind of co-working time if we can, and like apply stuff. So do you guys have thoughts on that?
I think 90 minutes is usually what it goes to because it's needed. But I'm not sure about the co-working part. Like, I don't know what that would look like, I guess.
Okay. What do you think, Angelique?
So are you speaking about The global community meeting?
No, just this one here.
Oh, okay. So it would depend on how many participants you have in it and and if you are showing applications and going through that, then like say you had 5 or 10 more people, it would give you time to answer any questions and give clarity to whatever you had just shown. So 90 minutes would be appropriate. Um, but as it is now, with a smaller group, um, I don't know. Um, I guess it depends on what your topic is, what you want to discuss. So
Okay. Yeah, no, I just did.
that's not an answer, but
No, that's helpful because in the emails I just say up to an hour, but I'm noticing like ha one of the things that I do, and I don't know if you guys are ever going to be teaching classes, but I'm reinventing the wheel, which I don't recommend anybody do. But what I'm doing is essentially making a class plan, So in the global community, I do a lot of observation and like where are these people at and what do they even need and do they even have a product or a program or etc. But in these, it's like I want to have, the lesson and then, Q&A hot seats, and then let's apply some of what we learn because I do notice that people are having a struggle with application, which is part of why I don't see a lot of marketers doing this is because we all have different businesses, right? We all have different, like we are all out here rowing our own boats and creating, right? And so that takes a lot of individual application, but I do feel like creating that space might help people too. So I think moving forward, I'll just say up to 90 minutes. And as more people jump in here, I'll just let it evolve on its own because um, I want it to be helpful. That's really what it comes down to. I want you guys to learn. So I just hoping I've always noticed that they go further, they go more than an hour. So anyways, let me grab my pen here. I don't know if this is gonna work. I gave up the whiteboard because it's so big. I took it back to the school. So, one of the things with funnels, and I hate all this marketing lingo, but it's pretty important because we want to attract people, right? So, hold on just a second. There we go. Okay. So, I wrote down 1 to 4 parts of a funnel. The first part is there's usually a piece of content, like a video, an ad, like a paid ad, a post, etc. Even sometimes a workshop offer or a class that moves into the opt-in, right? This is where they exchange the email for value. And this could be anything, right? And I know that you guys have worked on this, and that's kind of part of what I want to do today is see where you guys are. Um, but the third thing is nurturing. And you can do that with emails, videos, lives, workshops, like live videos. And then 4 is the offer. And I know we've gone through this a lot, but so that seems familiar to you guys, right? You're like, yeah, I know all that. Okay. So this is the process that everybody that, whether they have an audience or not, should go through. So I know a coach who recently, this is what he did. He did an ad. Can you see down here? And he went right into an offer. And what I felt was wrong with from the ad going right into the offer is I wasn't really quite sure about what it was he was selling. Like he did a pretty good job of, and I know him, so he did a really good job of like explaining it, but I wish that he would have done some more nurturing because then I probably would have bought the product. That said, if you have a huge following, if you have a huge audience, sometimes you can just go from the ad right into the offer. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just that his numbers are probably very low compared to if he just did from the ad to the nurture campaign, right? So it's really all about getting people in, um, giving them value, exchanging the value for um, or for the lead magnet. You know, I've called this small solutions also, and then nurturing these people. So the reason that I wanted to share this is because I kind of I try a bunch of different things out. And this is what I did with the community, and this is the purpose of the community is basically a funnel. Um, so what I'm doing is I'll do a TikTok video, social media, which is a content piece. I invite them into the community. And from there, we're doing the weekly meetups or lessons. It's really just me understanding how can I serve these people, right? That's really the question that I'm having is where are they? What are they doing? How can I serve them? A lot of people are just needing the community. A lot of people are just looking for something to get them started on their journey. A lot of people are very confused. I'm noticing. So I'm learning a lot here. But from here, I'm able to um, I'll be able to give them an offer. So the cool thing is that I was originally planning on giving them or doing a 3 week class, and I'm noticing that it's probably still aligned with the collective out there that needs help. I was worried that I would be spending money on ads. Um, and teaching something that nobody quite got. So what I'm noticing by having the community there is that they're all going to benefit from it and that if there's like, you know, maybe 5 people in the community that'll benefit from it, there's a lot more of people that'll benefit from it. So the community is actually a funnel. Now, when I started this, I wasn't asking how can I do a funnel that's going to bring in people. I said, how can I help the most amount of people? And so with part of the application for today, you know, that's what I recommend you guys doing is say, how can I help the most amount of people or how can I help someone or what can I share that will help someone? Um, and then that's pretty much how the community was born. And it's basically serving like a funnel. So as we know, a funnel looks like this. And the more people, let's see, the community come in here. By the way, this content has the call to action that we talked about. Um, and really, my offer that I'm offering these people is learn, you know, come together, start your business. I'm using words like that in my TikTok videos, which I haven't recorded. But every time I record one and I send it out there, I get members and I'm still getting members, which I'm surprised at how good it's working. But again, that wasn't my intention. My intention was how can I help? How can I help people and how can I bring people together and how can I see where they're at? How can I serve them but educate me? And so that's the question that you would want to ask yourself as well. So of this community, um, you know, I am getting addresses, so I get to nurture them through the mail. Um, but the people that aren't aligned with what I'm offering, they fall off, right? They're just like gonna go somewhere else, gonna do something else. And that's why the funnel itself gets smaller, is because as I nurture these people, you know, only certain people are gonna be aligned with what I'm giving them, what I'm offering them. So of the community, let's say I have, you know, 100 people in there. I think it's more like 50 right now. Um, there will probably be, as I nurture these people, let's say I do uh, an email sequence. Maybe I'm sending 3 emails a week along with the weekly classes, which is how how I feel like is aligned. Um, then what we have at the end here is, you know, maybe 10 people that are doing the 3 week course that I want to do. um, just from organic, right? Just from organic posting. So if I were to run an ad, same thing, I just get a larger amount of people, maybe 1,000 people. And then we're going to have our own set of numbers there. So that said, this is the academy, um, the schools. We actually run ads for the schools, and this is what they do. Um, we get 100, or let's say, yeah, we get 100 appointments. We run an ad for a free week. Of these 150 people show up. Of the 50 people that show up, 25 people sign up. And then of the 25 people that sign up, 10 stay 3 months, and then like five stay 6 months, right? So that's the purpose of a funnel. And it's almost like a product ladder as well. Um, but that's us trying to help as many people as possible as well, right? So everything essentially is a funnel too, because I know Velia, you were talking about Google. So the difference about or people finding you on Google, the cool thing about Google is that they are searching for you, right? They most likely, if people type into Google like martial arts, these leads are already really warmed up. They're already looking for what you have. They're not really having to be educated or nurtured. They're just kind of jumping right in, like, this is what I'm looking for. So that's the cool thing about Google. So if you are ranking high in SEO, for example, um, that means that people might uh, Google like pet psychic, and then you pop up as one of the first three options or something like that. That funnel looks more like this because they're coming in interested, and probably, or maybe even, maybe 50% of people are hiring you. You're going to have your own numbers, right? This is an ad number. Um, we're going to have also numbers for just organic. And the reason that I want to do organic is because this is a new business, right? I don't want to spend a lot of ad spend on something that people aren't going to need or that I don't want to teach. So I had to figure out, what do I actually want to teach to? What do I want to do? Because again, the reason that a lot of people don't teach classes like this, I'm noticing in my experience, is because everybody is in a different part of the journey. Everybody has contracts, like soul contracts, with what they're creating, contracts with their business, soul contracts with their business, and then the application part, they're all different. Um, so that said, do you guys have any questions about or rather maybe or something to share about where you're at in creating funnels?
Um, how would do you want to go, Angelique?
Okay, I'll go. um, Now, the people who I would have wanted to funnel towards me before has shifted. So I was just thinking about that this morning actually. Um, what type of people do I want to attract to this specific aspect of what I would be doing? And so that's the part of the process that I'm in. I'm determining a very precise target audience. And once I have that, I'll know where I'll use that blueprint that you previously gave us of, well, where does that avatar hang out? Where can I, where do I target them? How do I target them? So, for me, I would have to say for a few things, I'm determining who the best, what is the best use of my skill set, and what target audience would be the most receptive to that. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm in identification. I'm in the identification process phase for that, and the only reason is because I've since the last time we spoke about this, I've done a few pivots energetically. So that's why. And that's where I'm at. I hope that made
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it does. And I think too, I mean, I feel like we're always going to be making these energetic pivots because we
Yeah.
eventually land on a collective that are like, we want to help these people. They're actually getting results from us because they can apply, or, like I was telling Robert, like, I don't have a problem I want to make sure I'm doing the right things. Some people don't have a problem, or some people have a problem applying anything, right? I'm like, I can apply everything. I just want to make sure I'm applying the right things in my business. But I would go back and just look at the avatar work that you did. I know you probably still have access to that form, or just ask yourself, what are the
Yeah.
qualifications of the people that I want to serve? Because the reason that I actually questioned, should I offer this by Zoom? Should I just have people come in by Zoom? And I said, absolutely, because if you don't have a Zoom account, you can't join this class, right? If you don't have a Zoom account, you can't do any of the other offerings that I do. And so, and also, if people aren't willing to come in and show up on Zoom, and at least keep your camera off, which I know a lot of people are at different areas or stages, then they're not going to even buy the product, right? So for me, offering the weekly class, people are actually getting a Zoom account. They are taking action, even though they're way far behind as far as like understanding business and application. That is a qualification, and then they're going to have to really say, I'm ready for this, And so part of the purpose of the funnel is to remove people. And so
Yep.
remove the people that aren't a good fit, but keep nurturing the people that are. And one of the things that I noticed too is the light worker groups that I'm a part of on Facebook. They've got, I think they said like 1,000 members a day coming into that group. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And all these light workers are going, people aren't really spiritual if they're charging money for helping people. And I'm just like, oh, we've all been through this, right? And we're just like, oh dear, yeah, we've all been down that road. So like, I know that those people are not who I don't want them, right? So I will say whatever I need to say in order to say, are you ready to be prosperous, right? Because I think there's some truth to that, but eventually you realize you're in a 3D reality. We're all having a game. We're all having fun. We're all in pain, we're all in suffering, we're all in joy, and we're all in this experience, and we're making it what it is. And at the end of the day, money is a form of exchange. This is something that we get to do here. And so it's not selfish, but when we're in the early stages, it is. So I'm working really hard to make sure that what I say is authentic, because I feel like it's our authenticity, right? So when we're authentic and we're showing up, we're automatically going to be releasing all the people that aren't aligned, right? And that's just me being me, like speaking the way that I speak. And I think that comes with content too. Are you posting on TikTok yet?
No, I'm having, gosh, for the last 2 weeks, I've been having incredibly horrific download issues. It's this one of it is the speed. Now my computer, this morning, my computer was having an issue. And it's funny because a few hours ago, you're speaking about Zoom, and I'm like, I'm just going to cancel my Zoom account because my computer's not even able to have Zoom on it right now. And so so I was already at that pit this morning and springboarded back out of it. So it's so funny that you said Zoom. But so let me apparently I climbed off that mountain of rusty nails, razor blades, and broken glass, and I will get that repaired by the end of the day. But that's why. I mean, I had a huge downloading project. It's taken me weeks to get that done, and it's so frustrating. Um, so, but I have a feeling that all will be well in a few hours because
Awesome.
I'm alchemizing that in me right now as we speak.
Well, the end of this year
Um,
is a lot of energy coming through, just so you know. I'm sure you feel it. I don't know about you, Velia. I feel it.
Absolutely.
I'm like, what's the
Absolutely.
point? This is stupid. I always go, I know when the energy's coming through because I just say, this is stupid. Everything is stupid to me. I'm like, this is stupid. What's the point? You know? So, and then I get over it. So,
Yeah. Um, yeah, that was just a few hours ago. Oh my gosh, I've restarted my computer 4 times this
maybe,
morning. It'll sort out.
yeah, it will. It will. And, you know, and remember too, I really do feel like when we're posting content, I feel like there's that dance between pushing ourselves through our fears and whatever might be holding us back and tuning into what feels good and authentic and easy. I feel like there's that dance, right? Because for me, I used to hate posting videos, but I knew that it's something that I wanted to learn and get good at. Um, but I also know that some days I'd rather write, you know? So I feel like if it doesn't have to be videos, you know, whatever it is that we are posting as far as content wise goes, we just want to make sure that we're doing a call to action and, you know, giving somebody some kind of information in order to get, you know, whatever content, whatever it is that we need to get from them to continue to communicate with them. And that's why the, you know, the ad or the content, opt in, nurture, offer, right? Those are the four parts of the funnel. That's why that's just the easiest thing to do. Um, but a lot of these people that are coming into the community, I'm doing weekly, right? I'm nurturing them by inviting them weekly to show up. That's just part of the nurture process. And that's just something that I decided to do. I got the hit to just from my guidance to do that, even though I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. You know, I'm not ready for this. I don't want to put this on my calendar. But I do see why my guidance said to do kind of recommended that I do that because it's helping me grow the fastest and understanding what I can do. So yeah, I think you've got your work cut out for you then. So it sounds like you're learning about where the people you want to serve, where they hang out, and
Yeah.
how to maybe filter, you know, apply a filter process as to who you want showing up. And I feel like we're always going to have random people that we don't want, right? But they drop off eventually, or what I do is I just hold the space and send them love, and they end up either staying or going, you know. And I've learned early on that if I judge any of those people, I'm just because I've always been wrong. I'm like, oh, this person, you know, even in martial arts, somebody will walk in as a white belt, and I'm like, this person's gonna have a really tough time making it to the next color, you know, to the next belt. And then 3 weeks later, they're surpassing everybody else. So I've learned not to even judge that. I'm just like, never mind, whatever. I just won't pay attention to that. I'll just, you know, keep everybody on the same projection moving forward. So, um, but yeah, so do you, are you, what is your thought, Angelique, as far as the content that you'll be posting to kind of invite people into the,
I, I want to do shorts, and it would be on the humorous thing about this is, you know, a few months ago, I probably would not have even been bothered or noticed my slow download or ability. It wouldn't have bothered me. It wasn't necessary. I wasn't on the computer as much. So as soon as I have the desire to utilize that, um, it's that's the pinch point. And what it's doing is it's so all this content. There's so many different things I could post about. I could put esoteric information down in different types of shorts. I could do things on the Oracle deck that I just did, um, and I can do. I mean, there's just a lot of content. Um, the simplest way would be obviously for me to have something where I can just, you know, do a video and then just have it go out over multiple platforms. And Vicky mentioned the other night, there was a platform she was using. It sounded like that's what it did. It was amazing.
Hmm.
It was an
Yeah, there's a
incredible
few.
platform.
I
Yeah,
use Opus Clip for that. That's probably the one she's talking about.
that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Opus
that's the
Clip.
one she was talking about. It cuts your video, it edits it, it does all kinds of stuff, and you just hit a button and pooh, off it sails to the multiple sites. And so what
So
this
let
has
me,
shown me,
yeah,
yeah.
so, oh,
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, so you want to do, because I just want to make sure, and trust me, this can waver, but so you want to do shorts and, the shorts, you want to invite them on a call to action,
Yep.
in
Yeah.
order to, what I always start with the download this, download this, and it sends them to what I call a small solution or a lead magnet.
Mhm.
So a lot of the stuff that I post on, a lot of the content that I used to share was all about learning what people responded to. What are they interested in? What is the language that I can use that's really resonating with people that I'm also aligned with? Because I'm not going to say something that I can't stand up with, right? And for, and to. So a lot of that was like, what is it? And so there was that period of trial and error and just testing. And that's why with the TikTok challenge, that's why I say just test all these videos. Not that you guys have to do it. It's not the only way to test stuff. But then to have them eventually, you'll say, okay, download this or sign up for this workshop or join me on this call or whatnot. So, do you know what the small solution in exchange for like their email address would be? Do you have that
Yeah,
connection? Okay.
I do. So if so it would look like this. I identify an issue, I give some information about that, and then say click below for this free uh, PDF. I have hundreds now. That's part of what I was downloading. I have hundreds now of these PDFs that they can just download for free. I'll get their email address, and then I'll have an email campaign based off of that, where I can directly market a more in-depth solution to the problem. So they've the problem they have identified. It would be a small but noticeable thing. I'll give a PDF to help assist with that, to help ease that. And then in the email campaign, I'll show something that would be more in depth, more targeted for that uh, problem. I'll give more of a solution to that problem if they're interested, and that could be with a class or a maybe another series of PDFs. Who knows?
Okay.
But we'll tackle that when it gets there.
That's good. And so
Does
your
that sound, does
offer,
that sound make sense?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's perfect. And so you'll do emails and then
Hmm.
your offer would be so you're planning on doing an email campaign and then your
Yeah.
offer, what are you inviting them into? Like your one-on-one or like small group or what's the product that you're inviting them to?
I think I'll do a. I'll start off with a small group
Okay.
because in that small group, their individual issues will be identified, and then that could go into one on one. But I'll invite them into a small group community type setting, which can be just like a forum type. We'll see how that goes. Maybe like a monthly meeting type thing, where people, like this, get on a Zoom call together. Um, we'll see.
Okay.
But does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Does that make sense to you, Velia?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good. So it sounds like you got a plan. And the only thing that I really do recommend is when it comes to, this part here. Let's see. It really did my come from was how can I help people? And I know that you guys are there. But for some reason, I wasn't even really thinking about anything and as far as funnels and content goes, and it just naturally came through me of like service, service, service. So I feel like if we're always thinking about how can I serve people, how can I help people, this part here fills itself in, right? And then we want to work with people, so the call to action is automatically like, hey, email me or contact me or download this or watch this video or sign up for my newsletter or whatnot. So um, it really does become apparent. One of the hard things about teaching marketing is and such is that it's so natural. It's so natural. It's almost like teaching a mother um, how to be like feed her children and stuff. Like it's natural, right? So we're in a space to where we have these people, we want to serve them, right? It's very natural for us to want to nurture them and to offer them a solution that's going to help them. It's so the figuring it out is sometimes overthought, because it's all very natural. So yeah, go ahead, Velia. What do you have?
So I don't, okay, so going back to, I guess Google right now would be one of my funnels. So I do want to consider that. The one thing I'm working on for this year and this upcoming year is to ask for more Google reviews in every session that I feel does well. So I'm getting in the habit of that. And then my other funnels right now is like, I mean, I guess this is funnels. It's a marketing piece, so it's going to my events. Um, and because a lot of the referrals come from there. But from there, I would like to do something where I don't have to go anywhere as often. I would also like to do something where it doesn't require a lot of my time. And social media is requiring a lot of my time. Um, and so, what I was listening to what Angelique was saying, and as far as like PDFs, I, I, I probably have one, but Um, I probably need to simplify it. It's just too wordy. So I guess I would need to work on something like that. I think I'm more drawn to having like a weekly 1 hour group meeting or something like that. I mean, I like the idea of a monthly one where I could just answer questions, but I just don't, I may be, and I've been called to do that. I just feel torn because it's like, oh, do I focus on social media or that? Because it's very difficult to focus on both, I feel at the moment, especially while I'm building the courses. But that's basically it. And then I still am trying to gear up the energy for the email campaigns. I'm still working on that. And so you're right. Like I think it is very like I have a natural draw pull towards helping and I just want to be in service, kind of like what you're doing. But on a more less hours than what you're committing. And so on top of, and I guess I just kind of feel like I probably shouldn't be prioritizing it this way, but I feel like what's the point of being in service of people? Like I'm already in service for pet communication, and I think I've communicated to you that it really it puts me in this. I don't want to say it pisses me off, but it just it almost puts me in an upset, regretful state that I don't have something else to offer them when I'm here telling them, that your journey is to heal, your pet is here to help you heal, but I'm not telling them how. And that's where I'm just like, that's where all my focus goes into the course. I want to have that done. So I guess I kind of feel like if the course is done first, if I'm going to do it that way, because I feel like I won't allow myself to do it any other way. if the course is done first, then ideally I would like to either offer, like a once a month type of service where it is free and I can bring people in that way and talk about certain things around the beginning, like the first week of the course or something like that. Or other, neurospirituality questions that I could answer, anything like that. So, yeah, ideally that's what I would like. And I guess, so at least I got clarity on like that. I can see that and I can see that I'm moving towards that. I think the what ifs come in right away because it's like, how do I split my time with this if I can't even get my email campaign going? Um, and I know that that's going to get easier and I'm pushing little by little to do that. But um, I'm just yeah, I'm just still trying. I think, I think it has a lot to do with like getting getting all of it, getting momentum in doing each thing, learning how to create videos quickly, right? Learning how to create them without having to edit so much, learning how to create the email campaigns and get into flow in that. I don't even know if that's the correct word, but in a steady momentum where you have that habit down. And so I guess I'm trying to tackle all of those and get that habit down first. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
kind
what
of
it
what.
sounds like. So for me, like my experience was, I created like a 30-day yoga course and that was great. That was fun. I actually did paid ads into the course. I did paid ads to beta the course. So I had a group of people come in and experience the course and do the course. And then I didn't have it was a pre-recorded. So I was able to see where people were at in the course. I did it on Teachable. So I was able to see what lesson they were on, see them going to the next one. And then at the end of it, I said, oh, well, just let me know what you thought about it. And everybody's like, oh, it's great. Changed my life. I think probably the best review was like, I'm going to so and so somewhere across the world to become a yoga teacher. It like helped them with this and that. And I thought that was great, but I never saw the person. I still don't even know what they look like. I have no idea where they are in the world. And so one of the things that became really important to me, by the way, I did set up email campaigns for that. I pushed it and then I decided I don't want to do yoga. I don't want to, like, that's not, I learned marketing through that, but I didn't want to do that. So, I did a bunch of other stuff and then before I landed in here because I had just learned the system of marketing. But what I found is that, and I don't know if this is for everybody, but for me personally, I have to have people. And so as long as I have those people coming in, it makes everything else easy. So that's why I do the once a week. It almost like puts the pedal to the metal, the once a week thing. I'm able to say like, okay, these people need a 3-week course in order to get their business started. And I think, I mean, looking at our spiritual nature, that makes the most sense to me is that we're all connected in that way and we're all going to learn in that way. So that's why I'm really big on community too, is because everybody's looking for help, right? And so that said, it's also a lot harder to sell a pre-recorded course if you don't have the people waiting for it. So if you are, like for example, kind of like what I'm doing, what I would do if I were you is just to do when I did a once a month meetup, it didn't do very good because people kind of forgot about it by the next time. And that's why I said every other week or once a week. But it also had to work for me. So that's why I said, well, that's why my guidance was like, do this once a week because by the time it comes around again, people are going to be off to something else. So I did the one time a week meetup and it has to feel aligned with you, but this brings the volume of people in. Now, every time I record a video, my intention here, this is the interesting difference between online marketing and brick and mortar, is that I went to my aunt's house. We were in Oklahoma. And every time I saw the neighbor, I walked out the house and I'm like waving at him like 27 times because he just likes to be waved at. that's what it feels like we're doing in online marketing, is pestering people and bothering people and being annoying. But in reality, they may or may not see one of those waves, right? So we feel like, why would I knock on my neighbor's door and wave at him 27 times a day? Well, if he's only home for an hour, right? Like his attention's only on his door for 1 hour a day or 5 minutes, he may or may not even see it. And so every time, not every time, but it's going to probably merge this way more often than not, is that every time I'm recording a video, I'm inviting them into this community. And that's my intention. I don't care if it's choppy. I don't care if the video sucks. All I want is for my email to say, "Congratulations, you have a new member. Congratulations, you have," that's all I care about, because that's how Kajabi is set up for me. Is every time I get someone in, it says someone signed up, and then they're getting a text message to look at the events page, and then, I'm able to just start that relationship right away. So that said, I wanted the volume here, and then, you know, I wanted, now that I have the volume, I have my weekly newsletter. I figure this is putting them at bay while I'm creating the programs to help these people, right? Because I am offering this and I'm offering other programs, but I haven't done a marketing campaign around anything. And I'm okay with that, because I don't have the capacity to get it done right now. And I don't want a bunch of new people in this program. But the weekly newsletter is the nurturing that I'm doing right now, while I'm doing this, to kind of learn what they need. And then I'll start doing the campaigns. And the campaigns will either do a pre recorded course. It depends. I personally will do pre recorded courses if it's the same thing that I have to repeat over and over and over again. It's like, oh, you're wondering how to do a Facebook ad? Go watch this video, right? Because it's logical. And then I'll do live courses. And then I'll probably offer small group or something more expensive. I don't really know yet. But what
So
I've learned,
I have a
yeah, go ahead.
question. If
Mhm.
you're doing once a week meeting of service, what's the point of the newsletter, the weekly newsletter? Because isn't the once a week service that you're giving for free nurturing?
It is. Yes. However, so the newsletter goes to my entire list. It goes to everybody. The once a week is only the people that are joining the community. So the newsletter is going. So I have more than one funnel. I have the weekly newsletter funnel, and they're getting invited to the once a week, but not
Okay.
everybody's showing up, right? And then I have the shorts inviting these people. When
So
you
it's
sign up,
two ways to get into the once a week. Okay.
exactly, exactly.
Okay.
And the other thing is that I haven't decided how I'm going to do it yet. Robert and I have gone back and forth on maybe doing school and then just doing pre-record or doing like live courses, but just on niche, just on avatar, and having those on school. And then whoever signs up for any of those will automatically be signed up for the newsletter, even though they may not sign up for the once a week, right? The once a week is really, it's really attracting all the new people, when the weekly newsletter could be really attracting anybody. So yeah, I have multiple funnels going, and I'm sure that eventually I'll have like 10 different ways of getting people into one or the other.
Mhm.
But so yeah, my recommendation is, if it scares you to have for the idea of have a bunch of people waiting for you on Zoom, then that's probably a good indication of a way to go, because I can't create this without them, you know? I just can't.
Well, I mean, it doesn't like I think so I guess it doesn't necessarily scare me. It's more because like I'm perfectly fine hosting. I've done it before. So it's not having anything on Zoom. It's more of spreading my time out. So it's like if I have to, so it's more of like I'm trying to get a hang of creating shorts and not care about what they look like and then putting them up. So I'm trying to do that. And what I've noticed is that like there are times where I like that meditation instruction video the meditation video that I just uploaded on your community. It took me a while because I let Derek listen to it, and he says that the instructions didn't make sense, and that's what will happen a lot is that, and I'm like, what do you mean? All I meant to say was this. And he's like, well, that makes sense. So it's like when I record some things, it doesn't make sense, and so either have to, you know, re-listen to it again and then edit it or re-record it. And sometimes it's more difficult for me to re-record it. So then I'll just record a piece and then I'll have to edit. And then that's what takes a long time. So anyways, my point is that like, it's more of like trying to balance in my energy for the shorts and for the emails. And then, and then, and then the question, and then so I can hold that once a week. But then the question is that I'm, I may, if I do all those, three of those, then I'm not going to have a course ready yet to even sell. So I guess that's kind of, so it's just more of the distribution of energy in, in like how efficiently I'm working. I think that's what it is. It's like when I'm efficient, am I efficiently working on my videos? Am I, you know, I think I'm efficiently working on my emails, but technically that shouldn't take a long time. That's what I'm hearing. It doesn't take a long time, and including like I don't even want to write a long paragraph. Like it really is going to be short. So I'm trying to integrate that into a habit, and I just started that back up like this week, like to where I'm trying to integrate that. Um, but yeah, does that make sense? Like it's like all the pieces needed for it to work in order to become a funnel to sell something else. I'm having issues with efficiently placing those
Yeah.
into.
So the way that I did it, and I don't know if this is going to help you, and maybe Angelique can give her thoughts about it, but the way that I did it was, I'm trained in law and I'm very meticulous and I like things a certain way. And I wanted to be able to articulate things in a way that made sense. But I learned that part of what helped me do that was just posting without judging and just seeing what people were responding. So, because sometimes I would say things and I didn't think other people would get it, but they did. And other times I thought that I was very crystal clear on what I said, and I noticed that it was taken out of context, right? So I just had to turn on the video, hit record, and hit publish, not even watching it again, and just do that consistently and then see how people were responding to it. Because I feel like we get stuck in a trap of trying to make it very, very precise. And the only way that we're going to get better is by it's like a paintbrush. You want to get the stroke on the pit with the paintbrush perfect, but the only way to actually do that is to, paint the canvas, see how it came out, do another one, and then take a look at it and say, oh, that doesn't look like a bird at all, right? And then kind of doing it again. So we have to be able to shut off that ego judgment, because I know that all of us here can put stuff out there first time, just publish, And I feel like if you did like a time block at like, 8:15 in the morning, spend 15 minutes doing a video, give yourself permission to use the whole 15 minutes and then be done. Like whatever you have, you publish. And then the other thing is that do the time block for the email campaigns too. Because yeah, I could do it. It'll probably take you 1 to 2 hours to do a whole email campaign, but it might be that you don't have enough information to do it. So you're trying to come up with what needs to be in there. But when you have people in front of you, it, like in my experience, it becomes very obvious as to what they need to say, what they need to hear, So the collective like that shows up in the group right now, they actually are helping me figure out what to put into the weekly newsletter, because I can see where they're at. So it's actually serving them. I'm observing and I'm like, oh, they need this, or oh, they're thinking this. I can kind of see what thought triangle they're in. And I'm like, oh, let's break them out of that. I'm doing my best and they're doing their best, right? But yeah, I would just give yourself 15 minutes a day to record, and record no matter what, publish no matter what, and then just watch the feedback and then give yourself, maybe 30 minutes a day to work on your email campaigns over a week. And it should be done. It really should be done. I do time blocking. I kind of force myself to sit down and just do it. And I use timers, especially if I know that I'm going to get myself into a spiral of overthinking. But it is really hard for me to do courses when I don't have people in front of me, or I haven't taught the class enough to know, like for example, I know all the questions, most of the questions that people come up with when they're talking about niche. So I could answer all of those in a pre-recorded video, but I had to teach that class a lot in order to say, oh, I know you're overwhelmed and you're feeling constricted, right? So let's just move past that. You have to pick something to learn marketing. Change it later, that's okay. Or do more than one thing, that's okay. So I would just do time blocking. And then, as however long it'll take you to create the course is really depends on the course. But I would really give yourself some deadlines.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And time blocking. Yeah. I mean, in the course, yeah, I can understand the deadlines and the time blocking. As far as the course goes, yeah, I mean, I guess it would be a disservice if I gave myself a deadline and just put it out there without it hardly being done, but or if important pieces were missing. But what I did realize is that I did recently realize that a lot of what I was recording is just content information, social media content. That's all it is content. And I realized, okay, well, I'm starting to see what's the core of the course, the how. And so yeah, it was very difficult to see that they don't need this information in the course, right? That that's not necessary and it could just be put on social media. And so that's starting, I think that's creating more of a, what do you call it? Like that's making the I guess I don't know. That's making it look like it's just to me it makes it look like, well, if I don't need this shit, then I don't need to focus on editing it right now. I don't, so it's just moving it faster, I think. So there's that. I agree. I think, like, honestly, I did Facebook lives and they were really good. I enjoyed doing it. And I can't do lives on YouTube right now. I don't know why it doesn't let me. I guess TikTok would be, the next option is to do lives there. Um, but yeah, so I've been recording it, and then when I record it, that's when I feel like that's when a lot of the mishaps happen. And yeah, and I just remember when I was doing lives, I just kept going, and some of it made sense, some of it didn't, but oh well, it was live. So I was much more flexible, but once I started recording, I feel like that's when my time just really got constricted. And I don't even know if I'm making sense right there, but I just felt like I was completely enslaved to making videos.
Yeah, and
Uh,
that's not what you want. You don't want to feel like that, right? And
yeah.
anytime I feel like that's happening, I take it as a cue. I look at it and I say, am I just tired? Do I need a break? Am I forcing myself to do something that's not fun? Or am I pushing through something that I need to push through? Like that's how I communicate with myself, right? And I have that conversation. And at the end of the day, it's either, pivot and turn. Like I don't enjoy doing podcast episodes anymore. And so I decided to take a break from doing that. And I think it's because I did so many, but I also don't enjoy editing them. I don't enjoy posting them. I don't enjoy it, but I know that I did like a ton. So I took that as let's not offer this anymore. Focus my time on, on this because the intention behind that was not to make a profit. It was to find other people that are building businesses and get them out there in some way, give them something that they can share, like Alyssa, she does like vermicomposting and worm composting, and I was like, she needs to have something. She doesn't have anything, so that was the intention behind that. So I don't need to push through any barrier in order to do more of those. That's not serving. It's not, like it did its job, you know. So yeah, I mean, looking at your hangups and making sure it all comes back down to, are you getting the results, you know? But so let's look at your kind of your funnel here. So you can do Facebook. So if you enjoy doing Facebook Lives, there's nothing wrong, but you want to make sure that you're doing the call to action, right? And then just invite them into something, into some small solution, right? So if you were to just record, give yourself a 15-minute deadline, like every day or 3 times a week, or writing, you know, sometimes people love writing on a blog or whatever it is. Um, what social media would you post on or blog, or what would you do? Just 15 minutes 3 times a week for content.
Um, I like YouTube. YouTube's numbers are going down. The views aren't being pushed. So it doesn't, I guess, whatever. Yeah, probably TikTok. I'm okay with Facebook, but I just don't feel like Facebook is really easy to get views unless you're friends with people. So I would say TikTok and social media. So just like one video or both. So yeah.
Yeah, and you can use Opus Clip like Angelique said, and just have it go to everything. I just focus strictly on TikTok, and then what would you invite them to? Because I just want to do this because, in my experience, when we have all of this and we're trying to get all of this right, we stay over here way too long. You know, we stay in the whole email campaigns. We're trying to do all this, but what we want is to just start attracting people first and allowing things to work themselves out, you know. In my experience, is just a much faster process. Um,
So when it comes to, okay, so when it comes to like what would I invite them to? So as I said, I don't really have anything ready. Ideally, I would like to invite them to a finished like course, like even just one or two videos of my courses, but it's not ready. So if I don't have that ready and I just start hosting, like a once a week meeting, if hypothetically speaking, it's like I don't feel like I have the energy to do that now, but let's just say I did. If I don't have anything else to offer them, I think I remember you telling me a story where like you bought something from someone that you really liked, but then and so I think you bought something from them or you got a freebie from them, and but then they didn't have anywhere else to take you. They didn't have anything else to offer you. And
yeah.
that's kind of
Yet,
how.
yet,
Mhm.
but they did eventually. They did eventually. So the goal is to, um, I promise you, if you invite someone to 1 or 2 lessons of your course, you'll get it done fast. You'll get it done fast. That's how the collective will help you, right? So, but without this, it's almost like without this, you're never going to have the people to even invite here. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. I would just figure out like, what can I invite people to? You know, what is it that I can invite them to? And it could just be a PDF. And the other thing is like all of these people that are in this group right now, I have this to invite them to, and I have the Lightworkers Lounge. And I don't think any of them are ready for that right now. Right. But I'm still creating something to invite them into. Some people have been like, I want to hire you. And I'm like, I don't have any one-on-one available, but so I'll just have a conversation. Like, it's okay. I'm going to come up with a solution for you, and they're not mad because I'm communicating it. But, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. I would just figure out, how can you serve right now? And if it is the 1 or 2, or if it is the live class, and because it's going to help you create, right? So
Right.
if you were to, what do you feel more inclined to invite them into? Like the first lesson of your course, or like a live monthly?
Probably, yeah, probably alive because I don't have my courses done yet. I mean, I mean, honestly, I have like two videos that are done, so I could invite them into that and just send them that, or I could do, but it's again, it's kind of like a, it's these, all these videos add up to something else. So if they don't get the rest, then they're not going to really, it's not going to really benefit. It's just information, but maybe that's good. That's okay. But the life
Yeah.
class is also,
Yeah. Well, so what I would do then is the live class because that would help you, you just decide how often you want to do it.
Mhm.
And then that'll help you do the email campaigns. It'll help you develop your newsletter. If you do decide to do that, it'll help you figure out what to put in the emails, and it'll also help you get your course done. So I would just focus on these two things and then make sure that you're getting the opt-in. Obviously, you want to, it's all, content, opt-in, nurture. This is going to help you create things. So you don't have to have the creation done before you start this, because this, let me say, I have done a lot of marketing courses, and this right here, not having a course done is what stops people from being successful because they get stuck in that. So just jump right in and get people, and that is actually going to fuel you to get your offer done. I promise you. I would say I see 90% of people stuck in the creation phase because they don't have the service of the people to help them push it forward. And I think their energy helps. You know what I mean? Because you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think I know what you mean. I just also, I guess because I've already offered a group. I offered a group. I gave the PDFs out, and um, I didn't have anything else. I think I had, yeah, I think I had a little bit to offer them afterwards, and I was burnt out after offering the group was only like, I don't know, I think it was like a 5 day challenge or something like that. I was burnt out. Like I didn't want to do a live. I didn't want to do a live course. And so I guess it's just like the capacity of my energy like that. I guess that's where I get very concerned. I believe that. I believe that they're going to give you information on what to work on and what to focus on. And so every time I'm like in a session with a client, like even with Vicky, I had a really good session with her and I offered her that neutral energy meditation. And I was like, I'm going to see if I can get this done, just to give it to you because I feel like you really need it. Didn't, it took me about 2 months because it was just like, I was hoping I could use that energy to get me to do it. Took me 2 months and I don't, I don't I don't know. I think it took me a while to just record it. And it wasn't that I was procrastinating on it. It was because my energy was distributed to too many things. I felt like I had to get the YouTube done. I felt like I had to do the email campaign. I felt like I had to distribute my energy to just relaxing and then the course. So it took me 2 months. And so I finally got it done. I have it up and but it didn't push me like I was hoping. And I've noticed I've tried to do that several times with people. I've tried to say, okay, I'm going to try to get this done for you. It takes me months. It just takes me so long because of where I'm distributing my energy. And like right now, I have backed off from social media. I haven't posted anything on YouTube because the numbers went down anyway. So I was like, this is a sign. I need to, I need to take a break. It's my videos aren't being pushed, but apparently that's going on for a lot of people. So I backed off. I've given myself a break and have just focused on just getting the course done. So yeah, technically I got 2 videos that I could give to people right now. Um, so I got that done. So I've made some progress there, but the idea, but I think what I think and I could be wrong. I just feel like throwing myself in there, I may just stand people up. I think, I think I might just burn myself out. I don't see myself being able to create and finish my course if I'm having to do all these other things. But I feel like if I can reduce the demand for social media and how much time that takes, then I can do that. If I can tackle the social media and the email campaign and reduce the demand and time and energy for that, then I definitely see that doing the live can then help me create the course a little bit more. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how, but I absolutely understand what you mean. I've been told that several times and I've tried it, and it's just I think it's just the fact that of how much pressure I'm putting on myself to create, whether it's perfectionism or not, or I'm just judging it. I don't know. It's just, it takes so long. It takes a long time to do it. And it's like I've already told one of my clients, oh, a long time ago, I was like, oh, I have a course coming out. That was a year ago when I told her.
Has she asked you about it?
Yeah, we talk about it. She comes back and we talk about it, and she was like, "Yeah, definitely let me know when that's ready." It's like, "Yeah, haven't done the email campaign. Can't even, I don't even connect with her." And I was hoping that if I told her, that would put me in the energy to do it. And I was hoping, like I tell people, give me your email. I was hoping to collect the emails just to put me in the energy to start writing the email campaign. That didn't happen. So it's like I'll try to use that demand, but I think it causes a little bit of paralysis in me to put myself in that demand. But I know there's a strategy to it. If I'm required so much demand in something that doesn't require demand, then there's the problem, I think, such as like the social media aspect, right? So that, I mean, that's a big problem, I think. So yeah, but yes, I completely agree that like um I could have a call to action. I have a video. I have two videos ready. I could have that could be my
Yeah.
call to action.
Yeah. And what I'm saying, just like going into 2025, I can't really create anything unless I have the people. We are also creators. And so I feel like the first or second version of something that I create might not be the best, but as
Hmm.
I have more people doing it, it kind of evolves and changes into whatever I want it to be. So I just say going into 2025, really just try to get as many people around you as possible. And the other thing that I would do is when we think about doing email campaigns, it takes the exact amount of energy than to just sit down and do it, right? So sometimes we're thinking about it, and it's pulling our energy, even though we could just sit down and get it done, right? So
Hmm.
I oftentimes spend time thinking about things I should do, realizing that I've thought about it 10 times over. And if I just do it, it's only one time, right? I just get it one and done. The other thing that I would do if I were you is just to do like a journal of like, um, what motivates you, because demand motivates me. I don't know about Angelique, but if I know that like I've created things because Robert said I would. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Robert. Um, because things fly out of his mouth. One time he told one of our students, he's like, "Oh, it's my birthday tomorrow," and Robert's like, "Great, Laura's gonna make you a bird video." And he came home. He's like, "I promised so and so you were gonna make him a bird video." I'm like, "What? Like we never do that for our students. What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry." He's like, "I don't know why I said it." And so then I'm like spending hours making this happy birthday bird because he's a doctor, but he also likes birds. So I'm just like, this is silly. But I still did it because Robert said that I would. And I'm very much like of my word. I don't say I'm going to do anything if I'm not going to do it. That's a value and of mine. So that's a motivation of mine. And if I offer someone something, then it's of my own integrity to follow up on my promises. That's something that is near and dear to my heart. But that's not a motivation for everybody. Like if Robert remembered all the things that he said he would do, he would probably get more stuff done, but he doesn't remember, right? He's just like, "Oh, I said that." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, you do it now." But like it took me a long time to realize that not everybody's like that. But we all have motivations. So money is a motivator for our staff. not all of our staff, but for a lot of our staff, if they know they're going to make more money, they'll do it. So whatever your motivation is, money's a motivator for a lot of people. For me, it's just following through with what I said I'm going to do. But Angelique, what's a motivator for you? Because we do all have different motivators. So I think if you can figure out what that is for you, people will always help you create. But if we're trying to create without the people, it's really tough because we're so connected. We're all one, right? We're all one consciousness. So we're not going to really know how to serve people. We're going to spend 10 years creating a course and then we're going to offer it to people and they're going to say, "Oh, I have a question." You're not going to be able to answer the questions because humanity's changed so much. So, Angelique, what's your motivator? Mine is just doing what I say, and I definitely don't say anything unless I know I can do it. But what's yours? You're on mute, though. Oh, you're on mute. Okay.
Okay, I'm the same with that. Word is on. And so if I tell myself, and I'm like myself, so if I tell myself I'm going to do something, I have to do it. So um, that's a motivator for me. I guess another motivator is so seeing the vision, the future vision, and why would I not do everything I can to put myself there? So it's motivating for me to get those little tidbits and visions to see, and then tell myself, yeah, it's not that difficult. Money is actually not the motivator in me. It never has been, and that's a horrible thing to say in a business marketing class. Money will come when because I put my value and my heart in everything that I do. I put my integrity in it, my transparency in it. And so money is a secondary. So it's not the main focus. The main focus for me has to be on just uh, keeping in alignment with my with what I've shown myself and what I've told myself. And the money will come with that. It's an inevitability. It's a side effect. And so that's a motivator for me, just to keep in integrity with myself. Like if I say, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to get this done. And then the other part of me sits there and goes, how is that possible? I don't even know where to start on this project. But you know what? It always happens. It always does. If it means learning new skills, if it means, and then of course applying them, and then practicing them, it just always happens. So I guess my motivator is just never lying to myself. So telling myself, we're going to get this done. It's okay. There's a plan.
I like that
So
because
I
I
hope
like
that
that.
makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So part of your motivation is your vision, and that's true for me too. Like I have a vision that these people, so like this one here is like Angelique, this one is Laura, this one is what we kind of drafted up for Velia, even though you can do whatever you want, obviously, but the hardest thing to do ever is to get people. Ever. Like, no matter what, if you want to sell something, that's fine. You have to get people. So, one of my big motivators is knowing that all these people are coming in here and I want to give them something. I want to be able to help them. I want to be able to serve them. So, if I got a bunch of, people in wheelchairs and one arm and I'm teaching them basketball, I'm going to figure out how am I supposed to do that, right? I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to be pushing them forward because I want to serve them. So being of service and helping these people is a motivator. Money's not a motivator, but it is for Robert, which is great that one of us has it, right? Because I'm also a big believer that being of service is a byproduct of that is money. But that
Yeah.
said, I'll tell myself I'll do something and then it'll change. My vision will align to something else. So I'll tell myself I'll do something and then I give myself permission to switch the route in alignment with a vision. So, however, there are a few things like Angelique that I'm like, if I've said I'm going to do it and if it's aligned, then, that's my motivator. So it's going to be different in everybody. So Belia, does that, do you have any more like insights or anything as to what might motivate you to put the pedal to the metal?
No, I mean, because I feel like if I'm working each day towards the goal, the end goal of putting myself out there, I feel like the motivation's there. But I think I think there's something within, again, I don't know, I think it's just, but it's not knowing where to focus my energy. I think that's where it is that I have the motivation to do the social media. I have the motivation to do the live classes, which I did lives, in Facebook. I have the motivation to hold a course live, which I did free many times and then paid for it, group and one-on-one, or have people pay for it, but I get burnt out. And so it's like the motivation's there. I think it's just, so I don't know what other, I mean, sure, money motivates me, but I've done it for free and I really enjoyed it. And, there was a lot of things and I loved receiving the energy from some people. Some people didn't give me the energy back that I wanted or, didn't really respond. So, but I really enjoyed the energy back. That was very motivating. But then I just noticed I quickly got burnt out. Um, because of my distribution of energy. So I want to say balance is the motivation. Like if I can find a balance in my energies and in distributing what I need to do, knowing that that there's a quicker way to make videos. I think that would dramatically help. There's a quick way to it's strategy. I think it's just right. It's just getting down strategy.
Yeah, and so no matter which way you do this, this is what I recommend is just having people. You got to have people in order to know what them to invite them into because you could do this and have a live class, the course that you've already done so much work. I would recommend that everybody do this call to action, tell people to join your live class by signing up for your email, whatnot. Do a live class, and in the live class, um, or you could just send them to a nurture campaign, but also just consistently offer them the course that you guys have already beta tested. And then it sounds like your challenge, no matter what you do, and maybe I don't want to use challenge. Your observation is how not to get burnt out doing this stuff, right? Because some people, no matter what they do, figure out a way to get to burnout. And I've done that too. So I know usually I get to burnout when I'm not enjoying myself because I'm using too much intellectual energy, instead of like the spiritual soul energy. So I've learned there's that differentiation when I'm like showing up and I'm doing things that are aligned with my heart versus something that's just way too heavy on my being. That's when I get burnout. So
Yeah.
I think no matter what you do, that's something that you have to. How can you take action consistently without getting burnout? Because at the end of the day, you may be doing like a 4 or 5 hour day, making good money and a good living for yourself, maybe up to 12 hours some days as a business owner. But you're always, if you're consistently facing burnout, you're probably going to have to recover, right? So
Mhm. Yeah.
I feel like burnout is a habit as well. It used to be a habit for me. So I think that's something to just look at and say, how can I do this big project or big task without depleting your energy? Because
Yeah.
that's
I
separate
believe
from
that.
this. That's separate from this, right? This is like a project to manage. Burnout is a little bit separate.
Yeah. I believe that. No, I definitely believe it's probably habit, almost an addiction. So yeah, and then it's almost like blinding to know where to stop. But yeah. Yeah, no, but that all makes sense. I agree because it's like I've definitely faced the sensation, the knowing, the feelings of once the course is done, you have all this work that you still have to do to get people to find it. And that's a very daunting idea, and that's what that is, right?
That's why you start
Yes.
here first. So, but you've done all the work to get the course already, you know? I know a lot of you, not YouTubers, other influencers will just say, get your audience, get your audience, get your audience. That's great. But then they have an audience that may not want what they've come up with later. So
Mhm.
it's like now that you have a product, now you can use that product and all the content in order to pull people in that are aligned with that product, you know, and then
Mhm.
you get your audience and you've already done all that work. Now it's time to get an audience and then
Mhm.
it'll push you through here. But the other thing with burnout that I just thought about is I know somebody that gets burnout like twice a month. They're like messaging me saying, I did all this and I just had got they get sick, they're
Yeah.
exhausted, and it definitely is a habitual pattern. And I feel like they don't think they're working hard enough until they hit burnout. Then they're like, I did it all. And I'm like, but the other thing that I notice is that they're not checking in with their guidance to say, where do I stop? Where do I pivot? So they'll get an inclination halfway through to kind of pivot to a different, just a slightly different direction that'll be faster, and they don't listen to it. So they push
Mhm.
through all this energy, and then they're tired and exhausted because their intellect was needed to do that. But when, you know, you do the higher self stuff, so when we're following that, sure, we might be exhausted from time to time, but the burnout is the not listening to the self and
Yeah, which I definitely struggle with. Like I'll ask, and then some days I'll stop asking because I just want to get the course done. I have that stress, and so I start ignoring my higher self, and then I'll go for days, and that's when I burn myself out. I'll go for days not even asking. So yes, that's exactly where it is. Yeah, that's exactly where it is, and it's just building that, replacing that habit with the one I'm addicted to right now.
yeah,
With the
yeah.
burning the self out.
Absolutely, because you could do that with anything, and you probably, you know, I've, you know, like I said, I've done that, and when I was feeling that when I was doing the podcasts, and I was like, okay, I have to stop, and I'll finish, you know, this month, but I'm gonna give myself a couple weeks off so that I don't,
Hmm.
because I don't
Hmm.
want the habit, but I do need to get it done, so I'm just spacing it, but enough so that I'm giving a little bit of energy into it instead of, you know, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you guys, hopefully this is clear. I feel like 2025 is a new year. I feel like, you know, it's going to take a lot, just action, action, action. And like Velia said, not, not putting yourself into burnout because you guys have everything that you need. Is there anything that you feel like, um, I don't think there's anything that you don't have.
Right. I feel like even yeah, I feel like even if I don't have the tools to make my shorts, the way I used to make it with captions and stuff like that, like I just feel like if I don't want to invest in that money and on certain products, I still feel like I there's a way around it. I feel like and it's just implementing that and finding out what that is. So yeah, I do feel like I do have everything that I need. And I think there's a block there of, oh, it's time I don't have. It's the time I don't have. And maybe that's where,
Might
um,
be another habit. Yeah.
yeah.
Of there, the ego is really good at putting roadblocks in our way so that we can make up anything. And if time shows itself, you know, we have all the time in the world, it's something else. You know, it's like, oh, I don't have the right camera, or I don't have the right this, or I don't have the right microphone. And honestly, it's just a way, it's something that is there, and we are meant to overcome all of that and do it regardless of all of it. Because that energy just gets us in the way of serving people, and it gets in the way of us. It's like a, um, it's just like I don't want to say it's an energy block. It's just like the jump from one realm into another. It's like, we have to just push through that and take action regardless of all those thoughts because otherwise they'll win. And then we are living the same life 10 years from now, wondering why our course isn't out, why we don't have a business up and running, and honestly, it goes by really fast until you look in hindsight and you're like, wow, it's been 4 years and I've been trying to get this course done. That's why this process here is so much faster because it won't let you wait. So it won't let you use any of those excuses because you're serving people. So I think, Angelique, do you have anything to comment to Velia? Because I know we've all been through all of this stuff. So if you've been through any of it, it might help.
Um, as the two of you were talking, I was thinking, wow, this is like, I feel like I've been here before, but right now, there's a whole skill set that I learned in the previous year that I can add to this. So to attach to what you said about 2025 being a new year, I feel like that's when like the 2.0 versions of everything of everybody is going to come out because you're right. We have everything. We have we have the skill set, we have the tools, we have the knowledge on how to apply that. And I think energetically, it's just that pot had to meld together. And so now, as this year is closing down, um, that's why I at least feel the way I do. Like this morning, I'd hit my limit. I was so done with certain things, like I was going to cancel my Zoom account because I thought my computer can't even turn Zoom on at this point. And look, it's fine. It's working fine. I'm not even breaking up. It's amazing. Oh my god. And so, um, yeah. So it's like you got to throw out all the old ways of seeing and doing things, and just be so open to the bounty that we're being offered and given energetically with so much energetic changes that are taking place and coming in. And I took so many notes at this meeting. I did. I took all these notes, and I've got
Yay.
my plan. And I mean it. This morning, when I got the notification on my phone on my calendar saying Laura 3:30, it's like, oh, I cannot even come into this container with this energy. This is horrific. And so,
Hey, it was me too
um,
before. I was like, oh my gosh, there's a meeting today. But I know that it's just energy and that it changes when we step into it, right? So, yeah.
it is, and I think that a lot of this, because I remember at the beginning of December, for no reason, it's like there was a day or two where everything everything was so difficult. And I stopped a few times and I went, why? It's like one of those days where everything hurts today. Why is that? So I think it's just I'm feeling a lot of I'm not blaming it. I'm not using it as a scapegoat, but I am definitely um, tuned to change to feeling a lot of the collective energies that are shifting. And because like I said this morning, I was totally not prepared for this meeting. and and look, everything is working perfectly. The computer, the Zoom, I'm just shocked. I'm just sitting back in a state of shock at how what it took was for me to just go, that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing anything. And I actually thought of messaging you. I'm like, I'm just gonna message Laura and say I canceled my Zoom account. I can't come to any meetings anymore, and that's it. And just spend the rest of the winter in complete like hibernation
Isolation.
mode, isolation and hibernation.
Well, I'm glad you didn't
It's,
because I
it's
messaged
so
Robert and
funny.
I said, today's one of those days that everything is stupid, but I'm doing it anyway, because it's just energy. It's
It
so
is.
weird because it affects
And
us. Yeah.
it's, God, it affects, it's affected so much today, this morning. But yeah, I'm really excited and looking forward to there. It's not a block. I mean, clearly the laptop's working now, or my energy has shifted sitting in front of it. That could be a lot too. But yeah, I'm very excited, and thank you for this meeting. Like I said, I took a lot of notes on it. So um, yeah, I'm very excited.
Good. And of course the recording will be up in the cafe under the
Yeah.
recording so that you guys have it. The only other thing I'll say is there is the next meeting for this is the 26th. That's the day after Christmas. The intention of that meeting is going to be um, so one of the tips that I like to give people is, a year is 12 months, but I actually break 1 year up into four so that I get 4 years and the amount of one. So in my brain, there's 4 quarters, which means 4 years. So I do my goals by quarters, right? So on the 26th, I believe that's the Thursday. Yeah. So on the 26th, we'll just go over like what your quarterly goals are quarterly for quarter one, which is January through March 31. And this just keeps us all moving forward to what do we want to accomplish by the end of March? Because when we look at it in a year, it's just too big. So this gives us like all of January, all of February, all of March, and to try things, to explore, to apply what we learn, to implement the strategy that we're working on, and to really just by the end of this quarter, we'll be able to look back and say, did we meet all those goals? And if we did, great. And if not, where did they pivot? Where did they shift? Because as business owners, if we're not doing this, we don't know what's working, what's not. Are we pushing ourselves forward? And eventually, depending on this is what happens eventually. Eventually, at the end of this quarter, you're looking at your numbers. This is where quarterly taxes and stuff came in. You're like, how can I do more of that? Right. Or how can I make more? How can I make less? So, that's what we're going to look at come December 26th is what are your goals for the quarter? What are your goals for the whole year, but specifically for the quarter? And a lot of the meetings are going to have us pushing towards those goals and kind of helping, each other, whether it be a funnel or, I'm still going to do lessons when I come on, just looking at the collective is what will help the majority. But as far as hot seats and everything go, like, let's just push each other forward while being present, right? Because this is a it's an interesting experience to be present also by pushing into the future as best as we can towards our vision. So that said, we have about 2.5 weeks till the end of the year. So I just recommend that you guys do whatever it is so that when we kind of look in hindsight at what we got done in the next 2.5 weeks, then we can like say this is what I accomplished, and this is what I want to accomplish into the new year. Because I'm pretty sure that all of you guys want to be, self-sustaining, making income, regular income, all that good stuff come 2025. So hopefully sooner, but yeah, so that's what we're going to do January or January, December 26th. So that's the goal. That's the plan. So do you guys have any other questions or anything else?
I've never looked at a year like that. That's fantastic. That's amazing, actually. That's a new perspective that you just gave me.
Yeah,
So
you,
thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You know why I came up with that is because I love getting new planners every year. I get, one of
Yeah.
these. I get one of these books here. And I was like, I don't want a whole year. I want 90 days. And then because I want a new one so much. So I was like, well, what if I just did a whole year in 90 days? Well, I would have 4 years then. So then that was like, and I was like, and then we have monthly goals too, right? And then we can even break it up into weekly. But I was like, I don't want to wait a whole year to fulfill these goals. I want to get through this, look back, reflect, and then move into the next quarter. And then I was like, well, we do our taxes that way. I'm always looking at our income and our percentage of growth with the schools. Why don't I just show you guys that too, you know? So, yeah.
Nice. I like that. Thank you. That sounds good.
All
I'll
right.
definitely work on that.
Yay. All right. Well, we'll see you on the 26th and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Good to
Thank
see you,
you
Angelique.
too.
All
Good to see you
right.
too, Velia.
All right. Have a good evening.
Y'all too. Bye bye.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.